Hi, I'm Susie Miller, the Better Relationship Coach, and I'm committed to helping you create better personal and professional relationships in just 30 days or less. And on today's episode of Better Relationship TV, we're going to talk about something that can help every conversation go better easily. And what is that something? It's called listening well. It's funny, I was working on an article for the Huffington Post earlier today, and I was writing about listening well and how during this workshop I had done for educators and parents on how to communicate with teenagers, I stopped dead cold. I just kind of had that deer in the headlights look, my mouth hung open, and I stopped in the middle of speaking. And it kind of has this tongue-in-cheek title of how blowing a speaking gig changed my life. Because right in that moment, I realized that what I was teaching about listening well, I was not implementing with my own teenage daughter. Now, Emily is now 28 years old, and I do have permission to share this. She and I had the kind of mom-daughter teenage relationship that was tense. It was what I call pockmarked with misunderstandings. We just didn't see eye to eye, and we had a really hard time communicating. Well, during this talk, it hit me that the reason we were having such a hard time communicating had more to do with me than it had to do with her. What I was doing was expecting her to communicate, to share, to engage with me the way I did, to talk about her feelings, to be expressive, and she wasn't. She was far more quiet and introspective and slow to talk about her feelings. And then when she did talk, I would pepper her with questions, trying to get some deeper understanding, and it didn't go well. Basically, I wasn't listening well. I wasn't pausing and paying attention. I wasn't clarifying and validating all those skills I talk about in my book, Listen, Learn, Love. But the biggest thing that hit me was what I thought was her problem was really mine. So when it comes to listening well, let me give you a few tips. I mentioned them a minute ago. Pause and pay attention. We'll just focus on that one for today. If you just pause and pay attention to what the person is sharing, both verbally and non-verbally. Did you know that non-verbal communication counts for 60 to 80% of what the message really means? We've all seen those times, and maybe we've even done it, where our words say one thing, but our body language says another. My favorite one is when I look at my husband and go, "I'm fine." And he knows that those words, "I'm fine," are the furthest thing from the truth. So pausing and paying attention allows us to be totally focused on the other person. Here's the other thing. A lot of times when other people are talking, we're busy crafting our response to what they're saying and getting ready to share our opinion and thinking about what that is, rather than really paying attention to what they're saying. You've done it, I've done it. The next time you're in a conversation, turn off your mind and the responses that are going a mile a minute and just listen. Pause with this sense of, help me understand that. Really get the idea of what they're saying. Then think through what your response can be and go from there. So there you have it. Listening well is a huge piece of great relationships. And for somebody who is the relationship expert, of course I make mistakes. Of course I blow it. And that moment at that speaking event where I realized that I was actually the pot calling the kettle black in talking to these educators about listening well made a huge shift in my life and in my relationship with my daughter, Emily. We have learned to communicate well because I think I've learned to listen better. Plus she's grown up and I've mellowed and we're out of those teenage years. So that's my tip for Better Relationship TV this week. For more information, pop on over to susiemiller.com and I'll see you next time.